So, another Thanksgiving, a time of feast and family, a time of plenty, a time to eat, drink, and be merry, a time to relax and not worry about your troubles for a little while. A deeply held American tradition loved by all. Who could possibly be so crass as to spoil our splendid holiday tradition? Well, regular viewers know the answer to that. I could! Last year I did a video on the real story of Thanksgiving where I dispelled a lot of myths about the holiday. In that video, I flippantly mentioned the Pilgrims carving a number in a rock. As every American schoolchild knows, Plymouth Rock is the rock that marks the very spot where the Pilgrims landed, which they commemorated by carving 1620, the year of their arrival, on it. Not! Alright, for your first clue, just look at it. Those are machined letters. They couldn't have done that in 1620. They didn't even have sans serif fonts then. It would have been done by hand with serifs. Just look at grave markers dating from the time to see how it would have appeared. The carving was actually done in 1880. Second, if you remember last year's video, I talked about Governor William Bradford's history of Plymouth Plantation, based on his extensive diaries taken at the time. Some of you might have looked through that and thought that Plymouth Rock was conspicuous by its absence. It also appears nowhere in the records of Edward Winslow or Nathaniel Morton. If Plymouth Rock really were so all-fired important, why didn't it even write a mention? No one even indicates a rock at all until 1741, where one of the church elders, Elder Fonts, said that he heard from his father that he had heard from the original Mayflower passengers that the rock was where they stepped when they landed. He then knelt over it and cried, as the story goes. Whether he was lying or just lied to, or if this is just one of those myths that comes from faulty human memory, or from the delusions of a 95-year-old man suffering from dementia, it's something that can be debunked just by reading the accounts written at the time. Not only do they not mention any rock, the Mayflower didn't even land at Plymouth Harbor. They landed at Provincetown, on the extreme tip of Cape Cod. That's where the Mayflower Compact was signed, not Plymouth. And they weren't even the first to land there. That was Bartholomew Gosnold in 1602. It took the Pilgrims several months to finally settle at Plymouth. The Mayflower had been left behind in Provincetown Harbor. When the expedition figured Plymouth would be a great place to settle, only then did the Mayflower make its way there, around the 18th of December. They didn't even finish disembarking until March of 1621 because of the time it takes to build shelters and set up everything else that was needed. Most of them lived on the ship until then. In the years leading up to the Revolution, the descendants of the Pilgrims tried to exaggerate their role in the settling of the continent to greater and greater degrees, and the rock proved a great way to do that. That rock that everyone wastes time going to see didn't even come from the shore originally. It was moved there as the con progressed, and people were wondering why they would have landed up on a hill instead of on the beach like every other ship always did. So basically, some 95-year-old coot finds a rock and cries over it, and his opportunistic successors use it to make themselves look important. And that's the story of Plymouth Rock. 100% USDA choice grade A all-American fiction. So if there are any other sacred cultural traditions I can completely dismantle, feel free to let me know. And no matter what, don't let it stop you from stuffing your faces full of turkey and spending a lazy evening with family. But before then, please remember to hit like, subscribe, and share on this video. Make sure you can get it past all the YouTube shadow banning. And also consider leaving a comment as it feeds the algorithm. You can also help this channel directly by going to donate.bogosity.tv using PayPal or crypto, or becoming a regular supporter at Patreon or Subscribestar, or watch my videos on BitTube.tv or Odyssey.com, which are always monetized and never censored. Until next time, stay strong and be free.